Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Jim Hoffman. Guys, thanks for joining me. I hope you guys are getting some value out of these quick videos. Be sure to go to mytyromedic.com if you want some more content to help you with your EMS studies and to be better at EMS. So today, I titled this the five top five exam prep tips, right? But more importantly, these are the tips that most people ignore, right? Why do they ignore them? Because they're a process, okay? So when I'm giving you these tips, it's you're looking at it, you go, oh my God, Jim, that's going to take time. It's going to take effort. How am I supposed to do all this? I've got, a job, maybe two jobs, maybe a kid. Listen, I get it. People that are part of the exam success course, they often their biggest struggle that they approach me with isn't knowing the content. It's getting the time needed, right, to prepare for the exam. So, just want to give you these five tips. And again, you probably know them. You probably know these things, but you've got to implement them. Otherwise, honestly, you're going to end up failing. Okay. So, when again, talking about time, right? Study study during the time of day when you are going to be most alert, you're going to be most relaxed and stress free. Now, you got to decide what time of day that is. For you, it could be first thing in the morning, it might be later on in the afternoon, right? But figure out what time that is for you so that it works for you. Don't just sit down and say, "Oh, I'm going to squeeze in, an hour of study," and then in the back of your mind or off to the side, there's something that is stressing you out. There's something that's distracting you, so you're not alert. Okay, so study during the time that's going to be good for you. Now, I've done other videos on this next one and talking about maximizing your learning style. Okay, and look those videos up over on the EMS Professional Facebook page. You can get them on YouTube, where I talk about being a visual learner versus an auditory learner versus a kinetic learner or the hands-on type learning method, right? So if you're visual, use the visual aids. If you're, look at, read things, look at videos, okay? If you're an auditory learner, use use auditory aids, even use YouTube videos. You don't have to watch the video, let it play on an audio loop. Okay, there's ways you can do that. You can just let it play on your phone. You don't have to stare at your phone. Let it play. You have your earbuds in, and you're getting the most out of those videos. Let's face it, some of these videos on YouTube that give you tips and advice on studying and practicing, or even skills or specific topics that you're trying to be better at. We all know we have to sit there and watch the video. Sometimes you do, because sometimes there's certain things you want to actually see when they're doing the video. But if you're an auditory learner, you can just go ahead and just listen to the video. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button below and let other people know that you like this video, you like this content, and joining me, because it does help get it out there more and keep it in people's feed. It does help me out. So please go ahead and do that. The third thing is to focus. And when I say focus, I mean focus on your weakest knowledge base, right? Where are you the weakest? Is it in trauma or a specific part of trauma? Is it on something medical like cardiology or diabetes, diabetic emergencies? Is it on sepsis? Is it on pediatrics? Figure out where your weakest knowledge is so that you can focus on that area. Because too many times people just keep rereading and redoing what it is they already are comfortable with. Okay, now I'm not saying not to review those along the way, to keep that knowledge fresh, keep it embedded, in your mind. But when you're preparing for your test and you're studying and you're trying to master the content you need to pass exams and to be good as a provider, you need to focus on your weak areas. All right. So that's where practice exams come in. All right. So you can identify those weak areas. Now, something that could help you or hurt you depends upon your study style. And again, other videos I've done, I talked about this too, about having a study partner or having groups that you can review with, that you can help, that can help you and clarify questions. All right. That can be helpful as well if you have somebody that is a little bit above where you are, or maybe better at areas where you're weak in. So when I say focus on your weakest knowledge base, find a partner who is good in that area. Find somebody who's good at pediatric. Let's say if you're not good at pediatric, let them be the one that can review with you, that can clarify questions. Now, if they're equal with you, if you guys are about the same, right, in the same kind of level, then let them have the textbook in front of them. Let them have the video or the content on their computer screen. So that this way, when you're asking the questions and they're kind of reviewing with you, they have the actual answer right in front of them. Okay. Now, the fifth one, guys, is to practice, right? We've got to use practice exams in order to get comfortable with the formatting of exams and get comfortable with answering questions, deciding what questions are where. But one thing that I don't want you to do is to use practice exams as the end-all be-all of how you are going to study. I actually have a video inside, again, my exam success course, that goes over 5 steps to use practice exams, the best way to use them. And when you do that, you follow my little step-by-step plan there, it's going to help you identify where your weakest knowledge-based areas are so that you can focus. It's going to help you identify that so you can get a partner and figure out where it is that you need to focus those review and clarify those questions. Okay. And look, I'm going to give you one more, guys, just number 6 here. And I think this is important, especially come exam day. You're stressed out during exam day, right? There's no way you're going to relax come exam day. You're going to get into that, sit down to that seat, whether it's a final exam, whether it's a national registry, even if it's a quiz in your classroom, you're going to be stressed. When you start answering questions and you're sitting down for that test, and this is kind of, woo-woo type stuff, right? But maintain a positive attitude. Keep a positive attitude when you're taking the test, right? Say to yourself, you know this stuff. Say to yourself, I'm going to pass. Say to yourself, that wasn't that hard, okay? Even if you feel that you're doing bad, the test is not going so great. Even if that's going on, guys, maintain a positive attitude. You start getting a negative attitude that you're failing. Oh my God, I'm failing. Oh my God, every question is wrong. You are going to end up doing much, much worse than if you have a positive attitude, because perhaps you may think that you're not doing that great on a test, right? You may think that it's not working out the way you want it to, but you might be doing better than you think. So don't let a negative attitude lead you down the path of then answering questions incorrectly. Okay, so just some things to think about, guys. These are just 5 quick tips here I want you to think about. Again, want some more content, some more information about this stuff? Join me for the free member over at TurboMedic. Get an insider membership. It's at myturbomedic.com. All right, guys, that's it for me. As always, Jim Hoffman. Stay safe.